my fellow fighters, and the people of the world. You know, each and every day, day by day, I get validated by credible journalists and credible people in the space of analysis for the things that I've said before. They keep on validating, and it makes me feel good because I be not the only one who be thinking about things like this. And I know there's people who agree with me in the comments, and I see I'm not the only one. But I mean, in the space of analysis, I realize that there's people like Mighty Jamie, someone like Mighty Jamie who would say the most uncomfortable truth ever. The truth like Floyd Shivambu really made the biggest mistake by underestimating Dudu Zuma within the MK party. That was his biggest mistake in the MK party. And he was not a strategist enough to deal with that issue. I'm not the only one. Listen to Mighty Jamie.
Floyd Shivambu picked a fight with Dudu Zuma. I don't think that was a good move. I don't think it was a good move for a variety of reasons. I'm going to submit to you that we underestimate Dudu Zuma, and we do so at our own peril. She is somebody who was critical in Jacob Zuma's political momentum and energy at critical moments of his career, towards the end of his career. Obviously, she wasn't necessarily a big player in 2006, 2007. But she was definitely a big player in 2021, 2020. And she's somebody who stood by her father in his darkest moments and was able to galvanize, support, help him with momentum, help him with energy. That girl loves her father more than anybody in the world. I don't think that there's anybody who loves Jacob Zuma more than Dudu Zuma on earth. I don't think of any of his children anyone can compete with her for the love of her dad. What I'm trying to put across is two things. Number one, I do think that over the years, she has become somebody who has learned at her father's feet the principles and the fundamentals of organizational politics in the Jacob Zuma way. You may think that to succeed in politics, you need to understand Marxist, Leninist, Fanonian frames of analysis. And you may, if you are in a traditional political party where those are the variables. But Jacob Zuma has always operated around politics based on personality and behind the scenes strategies and tactics. So if she was learning that, even if she won't cite Marx to you or tell you what chapter 5 of Steve Biko is about, by the way, it's about, having other people besides white liberals speak on behalf of black people on international podcasts. That's what chapter 5 of Steve Biko is about. But even if she doesn't cite chapter 5 of Steve Biko, it's irrelevant if she understands how to navigate political organizations, maintain and sustain support. That is all the politics that she needs to understand.
Exactly. I've said this exactly like he's saying it. Of course, I don't want to take credit for something which you guys might agree with because it's said by him, but it's true. I've said this before, that Floyd Shivambu and his cabal, their biggest mistake was to underestimate Dudu Zuma's powers. Dudu Zuma, you can't expect her to be judged, her political career to be judged based on her being an intellectual like Floyd. You can't compare the two using the same matrix of comparison. You can't do that because that's not how the world works. They both have two different skills. And one has worked with President Jacob Zuma. Imagine if Floyd Shivambu can say things like, I've learned more from President Jacob Zuma in the 6 months I've worked with him than I've learned in the 10 years of being in the EFF. Let's say he's saying that and he's saying it and he's meaning it genuinely. He's not just trying to be spiteful to the EFF. Let's say he means that. If he has learned so much in 6 months, imagine how much Dudu Zuma has learned in her whole life living with her father. So imagine. You never thought of it like that, right? Of course, because there's no any other YouTuber who would make you think like that. They don't challenge you like that. If Floyd said he learned so much from President Jacob Zuma in 6 months than he ever learned in the EFF in 10 years, imagine how much Dudu Zuma has learned in her whole entire life because she has lived with this man forever. So imagine. So how can Floyd underestimate the daughter of President Jacob Zuma, the same President Jacob Zuma he praised for being a master tactical, strategical politician in South Africa. How can you underestimate someone who has sat down anytime, any day? In the morning, they wake up tea together. At night, before they sleep, they go and watch Umuvango together. And they experience each other as a family. And she's learning from this man. And Floyd, you are not there. She's learning from the same tactician you praise so much. And you think you were going to beat her in her own father's political party. You are never going to win. And that's the biggest mistake the people who follow you continuously make, even up until today. I believe the reason why the MK party treated you the way they treated you, they sidelined you, it's because of everyone whom you have invested your time and your energy on Twitter. Everyone who was campaigning for you against Dudu Zuma. Everyone who was campaigning to you. In your name, insulting Dudu Zuma. In your name, insulting President Jacob Zuma. They really did a damage on you. They really opened a can of worms for President Jacob Zuma to look at you and investigate you as a master. And not just a master. As a master and a very credible, listen to me, very credible man who has worked in the military wing. You know what he has worked in the military wing doing. Intelligence. So you think he was not going to investigate deeper as to all of these accounts suddenly are taking my daughter. All of these accounts suddenly are taking me. What is this? Who's behind all of this? These matches and everything. And you think Dudu Zuma was also not behind investigating. So you underestimated her. You thought Twitter is going to help you. You thought the Twitter account, the faceless MK party, so-called Twitter supporters are going to be there for you. And they were not there. Even today, they act like they're there. Let's wait until you launch your party. Let's see where they're going to be. Hopefully, they'll be there. Because people of South Africa, they did this, what they did, they're going to do to you, to Gayton Mackenzie. The street of Twitter and everyone in Twitter was with Gayton Mackenzie. And then when we went to vote, look what Gayton Mackenzie got. You would swear the clout around Gayton Mackenzie last year, he was going to be the president of South Africa. That's how much the people of South Africa made him to be delusional of his reach. Internet is not real. Many of the people online don't even go and vote. Many of them are just cheese boys and cheese girls sitting around in comfortable homes. They don't want to go in the cold streets in the morning to go and vote. And those are the people you think are going to be there for you when you're busy trying to launch a party on Twitter. Try it, my man. But guys, shout out to Mightie Jamie, the great legendary. You guys must check him out. He has a podcast. He's doing a wonderful job. I love and respect this man. And I'll forever give him my salute. But he broke it down in the most simplest term. Floyd Shivambu really underestimated Dudu Zuma. But it is what it is, guys. I thank you very much. Danko.